Hi, and welcome to another exam explainer from Oxford Revise about GCSE English Language, Paper 1. This time, question 4. So in this video, I'm going to give you some tips and reminders to help you tackle that particular question. Let's start by reminding ourselves how these questions are presented to you. So here is an example of question 4. And as you can see, the first thing it does is direct you to a certain portion of the text. In this case, line 18 to the end. It's very important, therefore, that your response, the points you make, refer to parts taken from those lines and those lines only. The next thing the question does is it gives you an opinion to react to. So here it says, in this part of the source, the writer shows the different reactions of Amir and Jane to Welcome Sands, creating sympathy for Jane. So you have a statement to think about. And your task is to say whether you agree or disagree, or the extent to which you do that, with the statement given. So it's a little bit, isn't it, like English literature, where you're given a view to react to. You're also given bullet points. So these bullet points are really important because they redirect you to some key aspects of this question. So you could, in this case, consider your impressions of Jane and Amir's different reactions, which ties back to that statement. You're also invited to comment on the methods the writer uses to create sympathy for Jane. This is really important. And sometimes when this question goes wrong, it's because students forget to say something about methods. And what that means, of course, if you remember, is you're commenting on word choice, structural choices that the writer has used in relation, in this case, to sympathy for Jane. You're also reminded to support your response with references to the text. In other words, quotations, bits, references that will support the points you are making. Now, the marks on question 4, I remember there are 20 marks available, a quarter of the marks on this paper. The marks you get are largely determined by the quality of your argument. So this means the thoughtfulness, the clarity, the depth, the detail of what you have to say in response to that statement you're given. So it makes sense, and remember you're going to spend roughly about 20-25 minutes on this question to prepare a thorough answer. So let's think about a strategy for approaching this particular response. So on the screen, you'll see a 5-step strategy for question 4. First of all, start by making sure you understand the opinion that you are given. Underline that statement. Identify the opinion. Make sure you understand what the question is driving at. Then identify the bit of the source that you are going to work with. Bracket that particular bit of the source. Put a line around it. However you choose to do it, make sure you're working with the part of the source you are directed to. Third step, make a plan. So work out, do you agree, partly disagree, partly disagree with the statement you are given? Make a list of reasons for that, things that you can use to support your argument. Once you've done that preparation, the final bit of it is really to find the evidence that you're going to use to back up your opinion. Quotations, references. But remember that second bullet, the one that directs you to method. You have to say some things about the writer's choice of language and or structure and how it influences your opinion. So a part of your planning must be identifying things like metaphor or word choices, imagery, which influence the way you view that particular text. Once you've done that, your job is then to write in detail a number of paragraphs. Develop that argument, really push your argument home, try and pin it down quite forcefully, give a viewpoint and use that evidence, marshal it to support what you are saying. Okay, hopefully that was helpful in dealing with paper 1, question 4. Thanks very much for listening to this Oxford Revise exam explainer, and we'll see you in the next one.